जहाँ Prabhupada Amritsar गए. So when he visited Amritsar, I'm gonna discuss that, read with you that. So Prabhupada वहाँ पर एक सम्मेलन था, Vedic सम्मेलन था. So Prabhupada had come for that. So it says here, the devotees requested Prabhupada to take fewer engagements, but he would not slow down. It was his disciples, he said, who were finding the pace difficult. तो Prabhupada तो बहुत सारी assignments लेते जा रहे थे, और उनके जो साथ में उनके साथ 20 शिष्य थे जो अमेरिका से आए हुए थे उस टाइम. तो वो सब जो थे वो बड़ा कठिन पा रहे थे उनके साथ पेस रखने में. तो but Prabhupada जो थे, he was very very aggressive in preaching. Or one afternoon, Prabhupada and his disciples, actually they were in a response to an invitation on the Vedanta Sammelan. और वहाँ पर जब that same morning Prabhupada attended the Vedanta Sammelan, there were thousands of people in the audience. And since most of them did not understand English, Prabhupada spoke in Hindi. His presentation pleased everyone, and the committee members honored him by making him president of the Vedanta Sammelan. कह रहे हैं जब अमृतसर स्टेशन पे ट्रेन पहुंची थी, so members of the Vedanta Sammelan had come to receive Prabhupada and escorted him and his disciples to a park on the outskirts of the city. They showed him the large pandal, the Niketan Ashram, and erected for Vedanta Sammelan, and assigned him and his disciples their quarters. 3 छोटे कमरे दिए थे उन्होंने प्रभुपाद को रहने के लिए. Prabhupada took one room and the second 2 women and the second room, and the 4 men crowded into the third, leaving 3 men to sleep outdoors on the cots. So 2 जो women थी उनको प्रभुपाद ने एक कमरा खुद लिया, एक उनको दे दिया, 3 और डिवोटीज को दिया, और बाकी सबको बोला कि ओपन में बाहर सोना पड़ेगा. और the first night in the northern climate was very cold. Available bedding was meager, and none of the devotees had brought warm clothing. At 4 next morning, the devotees congregated in Prabhupada's room for Mangal Aarti and Kirtan before the deities of Radha Krishna, the same deities who had been traveling with Prabhupada for the past 1.5 years. Despite the austere conditions, the devotees felt fortunate to have intimate contact with Prabhupada. Prabhupada played mridanga, leading, और Prabhupada ने नियम नहीं छोड़ा. सुबह 4 बजे ही मंगल आरती वहाँ हो रही है, 4:30 बजे. And despite the austere conditions, the devotees felt fortunate to have such intimate contact with Prabhupada and Radha Krishna. Or that same morning, फिर Prabhupada ने जब सम्मेलन अटेंड किया, Prabhupada को वहाँ पर हेड बना दिया गया. और फिर Prabhupada ने वहाँ कहते हैं कि the program was scheduled only for several hours in the morning and evening. Prabhupada did not limit his preaching to these times. सिर्फ उन दिन उस टाइम के लिए नहीं, Prabhupada सारा दिन ही preaching करते थे. लोग उनको गेस्ट मिलने आते थे कमरे में, Prabhupada सबको कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस दे रहे थे. और Prabhupada जो थे इनविटेशंस एक्सेप्ट करते. कई लोग जो वहाँ रेजिडेंट्स थे वो उनको अपने घर बुला रहे थे कि आप हमारे घर में चरण डालिए. तो Prabhupada अपने शिष्यों को कह रहे थे कि दिस इज इंडिया, जहाँ किसी साधु संत महात्मा की कैसे लोग रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं, आदर करते हैं. So Prabhupada began receiving usual flood of invitations to visit the homes of Hindu families. He accepted as many invitations as possible, more than possible, it seemed to his disciples. Prabhupada moved quickly. When the cars were ready, he would come out of his room and go, leaving behind anyone who was not ready. After each engagement, he would get into his car and go directly to the next. Latecomers would sometimes find he had already left. They would then jump into the bicycle rickshaws and try to catch him. A wrong direction or a missed turn might make them miss the next engagement. And when at last they would catch up, they would find Prabhupada coolly, gravely in the midst of a lecture on Bhagavad Gita, or laughing and taking prasadam with his host. Every day brought at least half a dozen engagements. Come to our temple for darshan, come to our house for prasadam. And whenever Prabhupada would return to his ashram, he would find a long line of guests waiting for him to spend few moments with him. None of the devotees would match Prabhupada's pace and enthusiasm. His energy seemed never to wane. For his disciples, being invited insistently to take full meal at half a dozen homes in one day was too much. They tended to overeat and some of them got sick, but Prabhupada knew how to handle the situations expertly. He would fully satisfy each host, speak about Krishna consciousness, hold kirtan, take a little prasadam and move on. और